Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Tia Woods. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a girl talk. I've done a girl talk on my channel before, but that was when I was younger. It was very brief, and so I wanted to redo it. So a while ago, I asked you guys some questions on my Instagram, and we're just going to be getting into that today. If you guys have watched my last video, you've seen that I was really unmotivated, and I just want to take a little bit of time to talk about that. I was unmotivated, not satisfied with my content, and not being content with who I am and what I'm doing. And I was led this week to fast. I was trying to do the whole week, but that didn't end up going how it's supposed to be. I did fast Monday, and I feel like that really just opened up my whole view on everything that I'm doing in my life. I literally took that fast to surrender to God, surrender my plans, surrender what I want, my disappointments, my vision board. And I just clearly took that time to like focus on Jesus and only want him. And so I took that time for that. I also took the time to ask him to guide me in what this YouTube channel is supposed to be about and direct me on not only my YouTube channel but my life, and just give it all to him. So I went on that fast. I'm back now, I'm better, and we're just going to be content with what we're doing. So I'm so glad that you guys are here. So let's get right into it. So the first topic is, how do you deal with desiring a relationship? And desiring a relationship is very common around girls, teenagers. It's just a common thing. Like, you want someone to hold, you want someone to love you, you want someone to comfort you. And I feel like we all feel that, especially around Valentine's Day, especially when my phone just fell. Especially around Valentine's Day, especially when we go on Instagram and we're seeing all of these pictures and people my age are already in relationships. How come I'm seeing all this stuff and like, what's wrong with me? You start asking yourself, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. Like, throw that all away, because the enemy will always try to make you feel less than. He's trash. He's doo-doo water. Don't listen to his thoughts that try to come in and tell you that. Desiring a relationship is not bad, but it's the way you go about it. If you're putting that relationship over your relationship with Jesus, then that's when it becomes a problem. And I feel like, if I'm being honest here, I was doing that. I was idolizing a relationship so much. It was consuming my mind, it was consuming my thoughts, and that's all I wanted. And God was like, I'm never going to give you something that you want more than me. Because guess what? You're going to put all your love and trust in a person. And guess what? A person is not God. A person is not going to give you that love that God gives you. So I feel like with desiring a relationship, first put God first. Like, seriously, think about God more than any of that. More like, I'm looking at my vision board right now. I'm like, the things on there, it's not bad to desire the things that I want. But when those things are put above God, they gotta go. So God, I'm desiring a relationship, and I feel like I'm desiring this thing more than you. Lord, please give me more of you. Help me to love you. And I feel like a big thing is fasting. When you're fasting, you might want food in that moment, but you're like, no, I'm gonna get filled with Jesus, and Jesus will be my food. And you're putting all your trust into God. That's all you need is God. And I had to realize that too. And a couple of things that I've done to stop idolizing a relationship started with me not watching romance movies, not reading romance books, stopped putting my time and my thoughts into it. I also fasted, and then I also stopped scrolling on Instagram, looking at everybody else, feeding my mind with what other people have. Because once you start focusing on what other people have, you start comparing yourself like, why am I not there? Why am I not on this path? But what God has been teaching me lately is that they're on their separate path. Of course, y'all are probably still walking the same way. Like, they could be a Christian and they could be your age and they're living the lifestyle of Jesus and they have a relationship. That's cool, but that's them. They're still on their own path of life. God has them on a separate walk than you, and it's okay. You just have to be okay with that. You have to ask God to give you the strength to be okay with that and to get filled with Jesus. Because if you start feeding those thoughts, if you start feeding the fact that I want this thing so badly, you will start to idolize it, and then you will start to lust. And I feel like that is the most dangerous thing that you can get into. So you want to stay very far away from that. So put God first, and he will not take away that desire, but that he will help you to focus your eyes on him more than that desire. And sometimes God puts those desires there, but he wants you to focus on him first. So Yeah. Second topic is how to be content. Being content is very important because the enemy will always try to get you to compare yourself, compare what you have to other people, make you compare to the smallest things. And so the first thing that you want to do is notice in your life, what are you comparing to? Are you comparing to someone on Instagram? Are you comparing yourself to one of your family members? Who are you comparing yourself to? Because you first need to get rid of that comparison. Second thing is learn to be grateful. Learn to be grateful for what you have. Show gratitude to Jesus. Show gratitude to him because he's the one who wakes you up every morning. He's the one who puts food on your table. He's the one who puts clothes on your back. So show gratitude to Jesus and write down in your journal, write down in a notebook what you're thankful for each and every day. And I'm not just talking about the small things. I'm talking about, Jesus, thank you that I have the strength to get up today. Thank you that I'm even able to do this thing, you know, because we're always talking about how, oh, I gotta do this, oh, I gotta do that. You get to do it. And I've talked about this on my channel before. Like, you get to do these things. These are not just things that just come easily. You're privileged. Like, the fact that you're watching this video, you are privileged, and we need to be grateful for that because there are people in the world that don't even have food on the table, don't even have a table, don't even have anything. And so we need to be grateful, and we need to be learning to be content with what we have, not what everybody else has. And sometimes the things that they're showing, they don't even like, or they don't even take care of, or they don't even truly have, because Instagram and social media is just going to show you a small portion. You don't know what their life is like behind closed doors. You don't know that they probably cry themselves to sleep. You don't know that. So we need to be grateful and content with our own lives. And once you're able to be content, God can bless you. God is not going to bless you if you're not even content with what you already have. So we have to be grateful. Third topic is how to put God first with so many distractions. And it could be distractions. It can also just be like life. Like, life happens, things happen. Everybody's life looks different. Everybody's life looks busy sometimes. And so I know that it can be hard, but guess what? God should never be a part of your schedule. He should never even be on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? Because God is a part of your life, and you're going to make time for the things that are important to you. If God is important, you're going to make time for him. You're going to wake up early. You're probably going to go to sleep late because you're spending time with him. Like, you made time for the things that are important to you. And if God is important to you, best believe you're gonna make sure that you put him first. Because a lot of times we're like, oh, I don't have time for Bible reading. I don't have time to pray. Like, I just don't have time. On your way to school, best believe you could pray. All throughout the day you can pray. You're on Instagram scrolling right before you go to sleep, but then you don't have time for Bible. It's like your priorities, they need to be straight. They need to be good. And so God is not a part of your schedule. He's a part of your life. So we need to be making that effort to invite him in. I was just listening while my mom and dad were listening to a sermon, and it just said, you should never be trying to inform God on what's happening in your life. There would be times where I wasn't picking up my Bible, I wasn't talking to God, and then I would be like, God, this is happening, and I'm like, why am I informing you on something? For one, you already know. For two, you're a part of my life, so why am I telling you about things instead of inviting you in? And so the pastor said, TD Jake said, you should never be informing God on what's happening in your life, because for one, he already knows. For two, you should be inviting him in. Invite him into your life. Invite him into the things that you're going through. That's what you should be doing. Invite him in to your life. Ask him for help. Like, again, ask God for help and he will help you. Fourth thing is, what is modesty and what does it look like? So this is a really good topic because modesty can seem so scary. It can seem like covered up from head to toe. You're in long, ugly dresses. It's so ugly. But really, modesty is not like that. Modesty is actually such a beautiful thing, and I really want to get more into this topic later in the future. I really want to make like a separate video, but we're just going to touch on it just a small bit today. For one, I believe that modesty looks different for everybody, especially with their own walk with God. I feel like there are some things that you may be convicted for that another Christian might not be convicted for yet. And so I feel like it looks different for everybody, but I can say that modesty is dressing however you want to style, but just without showing intimate parts of yourself. That means don't be out here showing all the goods. They don't need to see that. The people, they don't need to see that. They don't want to see it. Look, they don't want to. As children of God, as daughters of the kingdom, we have to dress a certain way. Like, that's just how life is. We have to dress a certain way because we cannot look like the world. God says that we need to be separate from the world. And so if we need to be separate, that means that we cannot dress sometimes how the world dresses. Like, for example, if I was wearing a crop top, I would feel convicted by Jesus, because he's like, I don't want you wearing that. Like, you're my daughter and I want you to dress a certain way. And that's kind of how parents are too. They're like, what are you wearing? Like, you're not about to go out here looking any type of way. And that's how Jesus is. Because you're a child of the Most High, you have to look different than the world. But modesty does not have to be something that is ugly. It's really just dressing however you want to style. If you want to dress baggy, you want to dress however you want to dress, but with just a modest touch to it, without showing your stomach, maybe without showing your chest, without showing the butt. You know, we're not out here trying to show the goods. We're just trying to be out here spreading the word of God, you know? And so as a child of God, we need to be making sure that our bodies are respected as temples, as Jesus says they are. Next topic is waiting until marriage. So this is like a very important one. Girls, let's just come all in, because this is a very important topic, and I feel like it's not talked about enough within the teenager Christian community. Because as a teenager, we don't want to be out here living the life as a worldly person and as a worldly teenager, because movies, TV shows, these things are trying to show us that, oh yeah, we can go, you know, do what we want to do, but we cannot live that type of life. Like I said, we are children of God, and so our bodies are temples. They should be used as such. We need to understand that God created sex to be a beautiful thing within a marriage between a man and a woman in covenant with God. And so if you are not in a marriage yet, then that should be something that should be saved until marriage. Your body is a precious thing that God has given you, and we have to use it wisely. And so that boy might be cute, he might tell you all the right things, but if he is not godly, and I mean godly, I'm not talking about he has one Bible verse in his Instagram, he's out here shirt off on his Instagram, you know, the mirror pic, no. I'm talking about a godly man. If you are with a godly man, and he will show you that, yeah, I'm going to wait as well. And he's going to respect your body like God wants you to respect your body. Out here, people think that living a life for Jesus is all about rules. It's all about restrictions. But really, God is doing that for a reason. God is saying, I don't want you going out and doing these things without being married, because you are going to have soul ties with other people. And so God says in the Bible that your soul is tied together with this person. When you have sexual relations with somebody, you are connected to them. And so you don't want to be connected to somebody that you're not even going to marry. Even if you are going to marry them, wait till you're married, because you're in covenant with God and you're protected. The enemy wants you to think that life with Jesus is restrictions. No, it's literally protection. Because say you like somebody, you know, y'all do the do, okay? Y'all break up, and now you're connected with this person still. Now you have to go through all of these things, and God has to deliver you. You didn't even have to go through that. And if you have already done that, know that it is okay. Know that you are not perfect, and know that God has forgiven you, and he will continue to love you like he's always been loving you. You are not alone. You are not useless, because of course the enemy is going to be in your mind telling you, oh, you already did that. God doesn't love you no more. God is always going to love you. The fact that you wake up each and every day is the fact that he loves you and he cares for you. You are loved by Jesus, and if you ask God to forgive you and cleanse you and deliver you, he will do just that and restore your body. Hold on just a moment. Water break. Next topic is finding Christian friends. Very, very important. Not even gonna hold you, your friends matter. Who you're friends with, it matters. It very much matters, because not only represents who you are as a person, but it also is like, if you're hanging around people that smoke, drink, do all these things, you're not only going to feel like an outsider, but one day you're probably going to be like, you know what, y'all calling me boring, give it here, and you're going to start to do the things that they do. You start saying the stuff that they say, they start saying the stuff that you say. It's like, it's just what happens. And so you want to be a good role model. And so I feel like sometimes God does place people in our lives that are non-Christians, that are worldly, so that they can know that there's a better way to live. But that doesn't mean that y'all have to be cool, you know, buddy all the time hanging out. You know what I'm saying? You have to make sure that there is a distance. Make sure that you are finding friends that are actually friends, that you can actually be like, you know what, they're down for me. Like, whatever I go through, best believe they're gonna have my back. They're gonna support me. They're not just like acting cool, saying stuff behind my back. Like, truly God God sent friends. And if you feel like you don't have that, ask God to give you that. Once you ask for that, start looking for friends in those environments. You're not going to find a Christian friend behind a school smoking, no, you're not going to do that. You're going to find a Christian friend probably in church where they would be, and so I feel like you need to be looking in those spaces, looking in those places and asking God for guidance, but also being like, you know what, God, I still surrender this to you. That's something that I personally been doing. Like, God, I want Christian friends, but I also just surrender this to you because I don't want to end up idolizing friendships, because you can really idolize anything, but I surrender it all to you because I don't want to be out here idolizing. Good stuff. All right, next topic is dealing with lust as a believer. This is also important. I feel like it's not talked about enough. Lust is very dangerous. And like I was saying earlier about desiring a relationship, like we have to be careful with that because you can end up lusting. It's going to get you connected to so many other things like that are not of God and very dirty, very evil. You know what I'm saying? And so if you're dealing with lust as a believer, first thing that you need to do is tell God about it. Of course, God knows, but if you don't reveal it, God cannot heal it. I always say that God is not going to heal what you don't reveal. It's so important that you talk about it to God. Talk about it to someone that you trust that is godly so that they can give you that godly advice and tell you how to get through this. Even somebody maybe your age that has gotten through that, make sure that you talk to them because the enemy is going to try to get you to be quiet about it. Like even when I'm talking about like homosexuality, you have to be loud about, I'm not going to entertain these thoughts. Hey, I'm dealing with this, God. Like, I'm getting these thoughts and they're evil and I know that they're bad. I need you to help me with this, because if you let that marinate into your spirit, then you're going to start believing it. And I feel like, especially with girls, I feel like lust is very dangerous and can be more common within girls because we tend to fantasize a life that we want. We tend to fantasize about the boy that we like. And we can end up lusting over somebody. We can end up lusting over somebody on a TV show, on a movie. Like, we have to be careful about that. And the enemy, he has been an influence in people's lives to make movies and to make certain things for that exact reason, for you to lust over. You see the boy, he don't got a shirt on, he all in the pool. Listen. We cannot fall into lust, and so we need to be asking God to help us to block out that stuff, to block out our minds. And that's why I'm like, you have to be very careful with what you watch, what you listen to, because we do not want to be connected to lust. And so, like I said, if you're dealing with lust, go to God. Maybe if you don't have nobody to talk to, you don't have any friends that have gone through it, you don't have any mentor, any pastor, go to God. Because at the end of the day, God can help you. God will love you through it, and God is here for you. I am also here for you. Because this is just the community that we have built, Go to God, ask him for help, strength, guidance, and he will come through. Guys, we are done. I'm very satisfied with this video. I feel like this is my best video yet. Personally, it was very full of light, very full of good vibes. So that is the end of this video. I'm very excited for my content. I'm very excited for our community to grow, and I am just trusting God with this process. Like, God is going to help me. He's going to give me the strength. So I'm so excited for my content. I'm so excited for our community to continue to grow. Share this with a friend if you feel like you should do so. Also follow my Instagram because y'all should already know by now. If I'm not posting on here, where am I at? Instagram. You already know. I love you guys. Know that I love you. God loves you. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.